Hello everyone, this is Abimbola Kiyomi Iliokoya on Now That You Are Married. I'm excited to let you know that today the program is not just going to be anchored by me. I have someone very special, a married person that will be looking at the topic that we have shared earlier, but I told you I'll be bringing someone in to have a second opinion, someone that can tell us a personal experience. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to make welcome Mrs Dupe Animashaun.
Hello everybody, it's good to be here.
It's nice to have you on the program. Thank you for leaving time to be here. Today I want us to look at the role in-laws play in marriages. Because we know that in this part of the world you are not married to just your spouse, you're actually marrying out into a family. But are all in-laws the same?
Oh, definitely not. Some in-laws are nice, some are warm, some are difficult. And the white man will say some people are impossible. You can't please, You can't. But like all human beings, the family too is a mix of all manner of people. And variety is the spice of life. You know, they are the good, they are the bad, they are the ugly. It's all, usually all comes in the mix.
All right, then if we have some that are considered in quotes to be difficult, how do you deal with such?
Like every interpersonal relation, it's patience, a lot of tolerance. I think if you don't go into marriage with a bias, if you don't go in thinking that you are going to meet a difficult person, it helps because you start out on a friendly note. You start out trying to please. You also develop boundaries. You don't want them to go past those boundaries. You don't want to go past your boundaries. And if you are usually able to maintain relationship in the office, among friends, you will find that you can get on with many in-laws.
Meaning that the way you relate with your outside world.
Yes, it also
is
similar. It's a little bit different, but it's similar. If you can handle most interpersonal relationships well, you will most likely get on with many in-laws. They're mixed. So.
Okay, now let's get a little bit personal. How has your relationship with your in-laws affected your husband?
I've been very fortunate to have a good relationship with my in-laws. So it makes it easier for the man if you are getting on with his sister, with his mother, with his auntie, with his brother, and everybody, you are chatty, nice, comfortable, happy with his own family, for him to be warm in marriage, because otherwise you are pulling him in two directions. He loves his wife, he loves his sister. He loves his wife, he loves his mother. He loves his wife, he loves his brother. So if you and his family get on, then I'm sure any man will be more comfortable. More comfortable.
That's so true. That's so true. When you're comfortable with these people, it makes him very, very comfortable with you.
And it's easy to just enjoy marriage.
In fact, there's an adage, an African adage, that literally means that you can afford to have a bad spouse, but you can't afford to have a terrible in-law. Yes. How does that relate? Where did the adage, what's the origin of it, or how does it relate to our everyday living?
Well, I've met people who have impossible in-laws, and I know that because the man is torn in two, the women in those relationships feel that the husband is on the side of his family. And so when they go there, they face a Spanish Inquisition, or they face the court of appeal or the tribunal, whatever you call it, because they are on the receiving end all the time. So the in-laws really, for them, are the destroyers of the peace and harmony they would have had.
But can that possibly happen? Is it possible for the in-laws to actually be the destroyer?
They can very easily. If you forget that a brother or a sister has known his sibling far longer than you. You can't be married for as long as they've been siblings. So there's a little hold that they have. And I like to tell people to be realistic. You give a spouse their position, you also give a sibling their position. There's a certain love that you have for your brother or your sister. There's a different kind of love you have for your wife. There's a very, very special love you have for your mom. And if you give all those things their space, there will be no problem.
Now, talking about mothers, Many, I've had many women, desire that the man they would marry will not have a mother. What's your take on that? No, 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 no. I don't want a man that has a mother.
It's very common nowadays. It wasn't as common before now. But this generation generally I found do not want mothers-in-law when they get married. But we forget that we are also gradually becoming those mothers-in-law. But it stems from the fact that a lot of mothers-in-law in marriage have been stereotyped to be wicked, evil, conniving, difficult, and it isn't always like that. But I think the first thing to do is to take away the bias. Once you go in without that bias, it's not as bad.
Thank you so very much. You have really thrown so much light into this. Because, there's an opinion that mothers that don't enjoy their marriages always turn out to be terrible mother-in-laws. What do you think about that?
I think it's up to the person in the end. There are good people good women who have unfortunately been in abusive marriages, but I've seen them grow into warm mothers-in-law saying, I don't want my daughter-in-law to suffer what I suffered. So I don't think it makes you. I think you remake yourself along the path in life. If you don't live your life bitter, then you don't, in the end, want to just harm somebody else's daughter or make somebody else's home sad and hot.
Some in-laws are considered to be suspicious. Suspicious in terms of not feeling too comfortable with their daughter or son-in-law, especially if one side, that is either the husband side or the wife side, is much, much more richer than the other side. And then they begin to look, is this person coming in with a mission? Or is this genuine love or love of money? What do you have to say on that, man?
Well, my first thought is that, yes, it's possible that somebody comes with a mission. We can't rule that out. And at the back of our minds, as humans, we're suspicious often. When you mix social strata, you go from somebody went to Corona, somebody went to Queen's College, somebody went to Kent, and then you pick up somebody, there's bound to be friction. That's just reality. But if the man and the woman, because I'm assuming they're not a boy and a girl, love each other enough, and the person is actually sincere, I'm sure over time it will be proved that this is love and not it's not because the suspicions will no longer be there. It's just that over time you're able to convince either party, whichever party is the higher social strata, that this is love. It will rub off. I mean, you have one family able to go to Landmark. The other family says, just stay in our area in a better, let's just do it here in a small hall. There are issues, there will be issues. But over time, with a lot of tolerance on the part of the person who is being suspected and all that, and hopefully if the man is the richer, he's able to guard and guide, and shield and protect. Over time, the other party is able to prove that I'm really here for the long haul. I'm not here to just take it. She will take money if he's a fool, ultimately, and her children will benefit. But I mean, money is best shared. I don't think.
Well, thank you so much. You say it's so common, and then a lot of times the fellow might end up marrying the wrong person. If you listen, I'm looking at it from the point of view that before they finally got married, the suspicion would have been exhibited. And for them to have carried on to the point of getting married, I feel the suspicion should have reduced to a large extent. It would have reduced. And that leads us to what will now happen next. The one that is wealthier being overprotective of their own child.
Yes.
For example, if it's the wife, the mother feels, I don't think my child should live in Egbeda, like you used the example, when she's supposed to live in Banana Island. And in order to make their daughter comfortable, they will decide to just buy a house. How do you think that would affect the marriage, where you have overprotective parents?
think generally parents nowadays are, whether rich or poor, overprotective. We have a challenge in this generation. They call them, I think, helicopter parents or something. They are hovering everywhere, whether in marriage or, they're just there. It's good and it's bad. I think that when realistically the couple knows they have a challenge in social strata, then if the woman is the one up, she needs to come down a little bit, and the guy needs to move up a little bit, and then they find a middle ground. They may not necessarily live in Banana Island, but if the compromise is Lekki, if the compromise is Yaba, if that's what they can do, not necessarily come this way or go that way.
But suppose the husband is unable to afford the rent there, how long would they rely on the parents of the bride?
I think that a lot of Nigerian marriages, to be honest, are two incomes coming together. If the man works and the woman works, if the parents are supporting, no problem. But if he works, it's his dignity and self-esteem. This is what I have, this is what I can afford. If you now add your own, okay. If I could afford to live in a 500,000 naira apartment, and you add another 500 and we move up, no problem. Where there's genuine love between the man and the woman, I mean, no matter the financial situation, some compromise on both sides will make it fine.
Some compromise. Now, what of if you have an inter-religious or inter-tribal marriage? The in-laws, I'm looking at the in-laws because even before the marriage, they would have, every tribe will want their child to get married to someone from the same tribe.
Yes.
When that happens, combined with inter-religious, how one undo the in-laws there?
It will be a lot of prayer, a lot of perseverance, a lot of endurance, a lot of love. Because we're very ethnic as Nigerians already. So you find once we are crossing tribes, there's already an issue. Once we are crossing tribes. And then when we now cross ethnic, the things that divide us are mostly ethnic and religious. So when you put them together, it's like a little bomb in a bottle. But I mean, love surpasses all. Love can weather anything. So it takes a lot of prayer, hard work on both parts too. Because I've seen, and somebody told me this example a long time ago, that somebody she knew was going to marry somebody from the next village in Ekiti. And the Ekitis are Ekiti this and Ekiti that. So you have almost the same name. And she said it was such a tumultuous marriage, and there was abuse, a lot of beating, And she crossed over the Niger and went to marry an Ishekiri man. And she said, her mother said, all the way. And she remembered to tell her that, but that one that married next door, what happened? And she said she's been in marriage, very loving, happy marriage for so long. I think 40 years or thereabouts. And, looking back, she says she just thanks God. So it's never cut and died. This is next door, just next to the next village. It doesn't mean it will work. It's a lot of work. Marriage is a lot of work anyway.
So we can then conclude that love can cover all the distance. Can conquer all. So just focus on the love you have for each other and take your eyes off every other thing. Yes. And over time, everything will work out smoothly. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. In-laws are supposed to be in love. That's the latest now that you hear. I don't have a mother-in-law, I have a mother-in-love.
Yes.
And what that is telling us is, extend the love you have for your child to your in-law.
New child.
To your new child, not your in-law.
To your new
so
child.
You have a daughter-in-law.
Or a son.
I just want to believe that is also workable. It's workable. As you desire to love each other, you can actually love your in-laws. Thank you, Mrs. Animashaun. One of these days, we look forward to having you again. And on behalf of Ili Okoya TV, we would like to make this presentation to you.
Thank you so much.
And I just pray that your marriage shall be blissful
Amen.
All the way.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone, for leaving out time to be with us again. I want to hear your response. Ask questions. Put in your mail. You can see on the screen now different media through which you can get across to us. Till we'll meet again, I remain Abimbola Kiyomi, Ili Okoya on Now That You Are Married.